All right, so within this series of me taking you through some of my workouts and just showing you the behind the scenes stuff, I'm going to do a blood flow restriction training protocol, if you will, for the beginning of this workout. The one thing I like about blood flow restriction training is that it tends to give me something distracting to focus on while I warm up, meaning that I feel like my 40-year-old body is starting to show some minor signs of aging, and what that manifests itself as is that I just don't want to train. I just don't want to work out. But if I hook up this cuff and I restrict the blood flow to my leg feels as if I'm doing like a max effort, leg press or hamstring curl or leg extension without doing anything. You basically restrict the blood flow and the neuromuscular system just goes crazy. So what I'm trying to show you is here, I'm trying to get this pressure in the cuff up to about 150 psi. And that's the lower limit of what's recommended with regards to like a safe usage of the cuff. So I want to try to get 150 in the cuff. But as I squeeze my quad and relax, I'm actually able to, I believe, get my leg to relax to the point where I'm actually able to put more pressure into the cuff. And that's a cool thing. So what was 150 or 160 psi on the gauge, I contract and relax, and all of a sudden I'm able to get the gauge to drop down to 140 again. Pump it back up. I'm taking it up to, looks like maybe 160. Contract, relax, and now it's hovering around 150, I believe. So that makes me satisfied that I can probably, now I'm really trying to contract, relax. That makes me satisfied that I can take it off the pump and now go to work. And so it's cranked on there pretty good. And I'm going to go do a sled push to the end of the driveway and back, which is about 100 yards, 75 yards and back. So then I come back and I plug back into the pump. Now you can just bleed the air out with the cuff itself, but I wanted to see where it was. And now look, it's dropped down. I guess it stayed about the same, which is good. We achieved a kind of homeostatic pressure point with that cuff. And now I'm squeezing, contract, relax, get all the air out of the cuff. And I'm getting that big rush of blood flow into the leg. And it's like, wow, I'm woken up and I'm ready to train now. So, switching gears after the blood flow restriction training, and then happy to answer any questions you have regarding blood flow restriction training. I'm not an expert, but I do understand that it's something that it's worth playing around with, at the very least. Now I'm going into some stretch work, some dynamic stretching. There will be an Olympic lifting workout coming up, which I did not record, but at least I got you through the warm-up. So, big stretch. This is an old Chinese martial arts stretch position. You basically you reach for your toes with your elbows until you can get your head on the ground, and you keep moving your legs wider and wider, and lo and behold, you're in a split. And then you work the splits. Little squat sit, receiving position of the snatch and of the clean, Cossack squat, pushing that knee out. Opening everything up. That's really all you're trying to do, is just open everything up. You create these rituals. And this is something I've done for, goodness, 20 years now. So, opening up the hips. There's plenty of research out there that says, doing a lot of stretching prior to a strength training workout does not necessarily behoove you. In other words, save the stretching for after the workout. And I'm not trying to argue with that, but what I am trying to say is, though, with a body that you're trying to retain your athletic performance past the years of your competitive peak, I think you got to listen to what the body wants and what it needs. And I believe this is a back-to-back training day, so this is a day where I trained the day prior. So I'm really feeling like I just want to get all the angles opened up and, just kind of check in. I always feel like I'm on the edge of something breaking or an injury. But I managed to avoid that, I think, with some of these rituals that I have. So, old habits die hard, I guess. But, hey, you can't complain about working the splits. And I'm almost saying, like Jean-Claude Van Damme, I got to take it all the way there. I'm close. But I'm not putting in that extra bit of time, that extra bit of effort to get the full split. But that's what we're all dealing with. We're all constantly, fighting with that. Where's our edge? Where is our level of peak performance? And we find we achieve something that is a balance point, and then we stay there. And actually, the higher achiever has a higher set point. But regardless, we do what we can. We're making the most of what we got. I'm going into the Olympic lifting movements now. Here's some snatch prep, snatch movements. High, medium, low. And I'm not saying this is snatch skill work. I still haven't mastered snatch skill work per se. But I do believe that the time you spend in the positions and the time you spend doing the movements is really what's going to pay off. The other week I dug a trench to work on a pipe that goes to my septic tank, and that's thousands of reps, and none of them are perfect, when you're talking about digging with a shovel into dirt and rock. But something happens during that time, and you start to be able to have a feel and a sensitivity for the way that you're doing the work. And so something like Olympic lifting that looks somewhat foreign to us as far as the type of movements that we do on a daily basis, it's something that's almost alien to our existence now. I think Olympic lifting comes from people working all day, getting weights, stones, weight up over their head, moving the body. So we've got to do a zillion reps, and it all comes together.